My name's Tony Heeman. I'm the fire chief for the McHenry Township Fire Protection District. There's about 60,000 residents that we are responsible to protect. Last year we responded to over 5,700 calls, and this year we're on pace to go close to 5,900 calls for the year.
We're the largest part-time fire department in the state of Illinois. Between the call volume and new residents coming in and growth within that 56 square miles that we cover, we're always in a position where we're looking for new firefighters and new firefighter paramedics.
When I started, we had 2 companies basically. We now have 5 stations, and just the growth, the number of calls, it's amazing.
Many of the people who work here grew up in the communities that we serve and protect. They grew up in McHenry, they grew up in Lakemore, or Johnsburg, or Bow Valley, or Ringwood, and they want the opportunity to be firefighters, so they come here. They come here to be part-time firefighters, and then that leads them into a career path of being career firefighters.
The requirements, you're over 18, you have your high school diploma, no certifications, which is really cool because there's a lot of guys out there that don't have those certifications, and McHenry gives them that opportunity to come here and learn that training. So they teach you how to do it here, and then since you get that kind of background knowledge, they send you to the academy. You get to use that, and it kind of gives you like a step forward ahead of everyone else that's going in there, because a lot of departments, they don't have that opportunity.
When I took paramedic class in 1979, it was like a 14, 15-week course. These kids today, they're going through hundreds and hundreds of hours at 6 months, 8 months, 9 months of class. Then they have to do ride time. They learned a whole lot more than I did, and they're very good in the field. They know what they're doing. They're spot on with what they do. They save lives. That's what they're there for.
That's why we train so much. We want people to train so it becomes second nature, and hopefully when the call comes in, it is second nature and less chance of getting injured.
The most exciting thing that I find at McHenry, I've worked at a couple departments, and the training here is actually very awesome.
It's a very high priority for the fire department that we have training, and we train every day of the week, sometimes twice a day. We all want to be ready and prepared. We rely on each other, so it's important that we all know our job and know our task when we get on the scene. We want that real life experience, so if we don't have the call, we want to be prepared for it. We'll be ready to do it when we're called upon.
So it gives us all these opportunities to keep our tools, our instruments sharp, so that way we know exactly what to do. We can just fall back on our training.
When it comes to fighting a fire, when it comes to someone who's having a medical emergency, when someone's having a heart attack, when there's a bad traffic accident, people are trapped, I would put our firefighters and our medics and our officers, I'd put them up against anybody, anywhere.
We try and get people to work out every day. That's another big killer of firemen is heart attacks. It's a job where you go from 0 to 100 like that, and you have to be able to turn on the speed, and you have to be able to wake up in the middle of the night and instantly be thinking, instantly be moving, and quickly.
My job is to support the firefighters and their work in the community by letting people know how to be safer with fire prevention and with seniors with fall prevention. And one of the ways we do that is being present at community events. And another way we do that is to be in the schools and do fire prevention with the children and teaching all the ideas that help them be safe throughout their lifetime.
We've been fortunate enough to be a part of the pub ed events. It's cool that we have them with the schools that we once were in. You're in the shoes of someone that you saw while you were in the little kid's shoes, which is awesome, and the impact that you have on them is awesome.
It's great to see how they respond so well, and that I know I'm teaching them something that's going to potentially save their lives.
Even though McHenry seems to be a large community, it's a small community, and you will go on calls where you know people.
A lot of times you know somebody, so you come up on that call and you help them, and it makes you feel good. But there's other times you come up on a call and it could be your neighbor, or it could be your own family, and you got to deal with that.
It's their worst day, no matter what the emergency is, or maybe we've seen it 100 times, it's the first time they've seen it. But them and that trust of them letting you come into their home, into their life, and changing their story for hopefully the better really is meaningful to be able to do in your hometown.
The 39 years I've been here, I've seen a multitude of horrific accidents. I've been to scenes that, people shouldn't go to. Back in the day, you would, you tell people, hey, just man up, it's part of the job and stuff like that. Today we have, people you can talk to.
There's a lot of calls that have been difficult to deal with, but you learned, I guess, right away in this service that you got to let it go.
She just got her license. She was coming home from school, and she had a single car wreck, ran off the road, and I was the first one on the scene, so we had that bond. She wanted me to go on the helicopter with her. And I said, no, I can't. I said, you'll do fine with these guys. When you get out, come to the firehouse, let me know how you did. And she died the next day. So that whenever it kind of chokes you up now, you feel bad for this poor kid.
There was a young lady in the back seat of this car and she was deceased. And I had to call my sister at 1:30 in the morning. I'm asking her, where's my niece at? She's in bed. I said, go check. And she went and checked and came back, said, she's in bed sleeping. I said, okay, I'll tell you some other day, because I thought that girl was my niece. It is a dangerous job. Regardless, every time you go out, especially with lights and sirens, you don't know what the other people are thinking. They got the music up, they're not paying attention.
Every day you show up for shift, you never know what kind of calls you're gonna get. You just gotta remember your training. You gotta trust one another. Everyone just has one job and one job only, and that's to get everyone home.
In a dangerous situation in fires, we always, we put a safety person on that, is watching out, because once you're inside the building, you don't really know what's going on the outside or other parts of the building.
If there is a task or any part of this that gives me anxiety at all, it's being there for the people I work with, for that 1 out of a million chances that something goes really, really wrong. And so, especially for me as a girl, being able to have my crew's back is huge.
It's a little overwhelming at times, because you're responsible for these guys. So you might go days without anything, but that day you catch something, last thing I want to do is see somebody not go home.
A lot of times we'll get snowmobiles going down the river on the lake that fall through. If it becomes where they're under the ice, then we have to call our dive team in. It becomes ice diving, which is a whole different game, very dangerous.
And your family worries about you when you're at work and stuff like that.
Especially when he is diving and they're doing ice dives or going into a fire, you start to take it for granted and think, it's just everyday routine, just go on your business, move on. And then you turn on the news and you see things like that Chicago firefighter or diver, who lost his life. And then it becomes a reality again. Things can happen.
Here's what McHenry's like. This department was built by men and women who did this for absolutely no pay. They were true volunteers, and they would leave their homes or their business or wherever they were at 4, 5, 6 times a day and at night to come down and respond to calls. This is a place where people used to buy their houses based on how close it was to the fire station. This is a place where at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday, when people have to get up a couple hours from now and go to their regular full-time jobs, for an activated fire alarm at the high school, you would have all kinds of people responding to the station. It's the firefighters out there, they're the ones that make this place what it is.